Good day, everyone. We are on our week 8 topic now, which is how to write a memoranda. I am Rinalyn Bercalictao together with my groupmate, Miss Rain Villaran and David Bartolata. So today we will be discussing what is memoranda, what are the parts of memoranda, and as well as what are the tips in writing a memoranda. So, are you ready to listen? So to start out this module, let me first define what is a memo. A memo or memorandum is a written document that businesses use to communicate an announcement or notification. While memos were once the primary form of written internal communication in a business, they are now commonly sent in the form of an email. So, memo is an internal communication for the people under a specific organization such as business or education, university or schools, clubs, or religions. So, it is a form of communication for announcement or notification such as no classes, suspension of classes, changes in policy such as not wearing uniform or like sequence of events or programs. So, primarily, memos are written document. By the word written, it means written by the hand. But now, through the use of technology we are incorporating into our lives, then memoirs are disseminated or being delivered through electronic message or what we call email. Memoranda is the plural form of memorandum, a written message or note used in business and other professional contexts, while memorandum is the singular form. Again, memoranda is plural and memorandum is singular, and it is used not only in business but also in other professional contexts. A memo is a short message that's typically used to communicate official business policies and procedures within a company. Memos are usually meant as mass communication to all members of an organization rather than one on one personal message. So, by the word official, it means that it should be delivered to all members. So, instead of messaging them one by one or personally, each one of them, a memo is created, a document is created to be sent to all people without modification, just as it is to announce a specific or significant thing about official business policies or changes under an organization or company. So the question is when you should write a memo. For the most part, the purpose of writing a memo is to inform. However, a memorandum can occasionally include call to action or persuasive elements. So we know that memorandum is for announcement or to inform, to notify, but sometimes it can be a call to action. For example, students may receive a memo telling them to attend school in a specific date for a specific purpose, or employees may receive a memo telling them to attend a meeting for a specific purpose or cause, or such as a specific discussion for them. So like that example. So it is not only to inform or notify or announce, but it can also bring people together to perform an action. So another one to when you should write a memo. Number one, informing employees about company policies or process changes. For example, us in CABSU, we received a memo telling us about the changes in policy that we are now allowed to wear civilian due to heat index. Second is providing an update to key projects or goals. For example, we are provided a memo telling us updates about schedules of clearance or enrollment. And number three is making an announcement about the company, such as an employee promotion or new hire. For example, when we have a new president in Cavite State University, a memorandum was created or established that was disseminated to the faculties or the people under the CABSU. So number four, it may also be to remind employees about a task that needs to be completed. So we are disseminated a memo reminding us to wear violets on Wednesday during the BAC or Violence Against Women and Children. And number five is making a request of all employees, perhaps related to an occurrence when something went wrong. For example, is a memo is being handed or disseminated when someone inside the company made a mistake or something that needs to be discussed. And lastly is communicating a message that employees will refer to more than once, such as detailed proposal or recommendation. An example of this is a student handbook or proposal of events or programs that will be referred more than once for future events or future situations. So, more about memo. Memos are also an efficient way to communicate brief but important written messages to wide audience within the business. So, we must know that memos are brief. It is not long paragraphs, but rather it is bullet form so that the communication or the wide population that will receive it will easily understand the message or the important bullet points or keywords that they must know. So, lastly, you can send a memo when you want your audience to print or save the information contained in the message in some way for later reference. So, memo is now being sent through Gmail or through email. So, it is a soft copy, but it can also be printed whenever needed for later reference. So, it can be both soft copy for convenience or digitally viewed in phone, or may be printed for hard copy for later reference. So, that's all.
So let's now proceed to the steps on how to write a memo. There are few steps you can follow to create a clear, highly readable document. First is the header. Start with a header that indicates that the communication is a memorandum. The intended recipients, the sender, the date, and the subject must be seen in the memorandum. The header of a memorandum, also known as a memorandum header, is an important element that provides essential information and context for the document. It acts as the introductory section, typically including the details like the recipient's name, sender's name, the date, and of course the subject, and also any additional pertinent information. The memo header is a short but vital component that sets the tone for the memo's content. It serves as a concise summary of the memo's purpose and relevance, facilitating efficient communication within an organization. So now let's proceed to the introduction. Write an introduction that uses a declarative sentence to announce the main topic of the memo. Begin with an example sentence that describes the reason you are writing. It should be short, about one or two sentences. The intro should clearly state the purpose of the memo, so the reader immediately understands what it's about. If the memo is meant to respond to or to follow up on a topic or situation, include that in the first paragraph. As you can see, here's the example of the introduction. Let's read some examples of introduction. The first one is, this memo outlines the new company policy regarding remote work. The second one, the purpose of this memo is to inform you about the upcoming department meeting. And last, this memo serves to provide an update on the progress of the X project. So as you can see here, it is stated the purpose of the memo. So now let's proceed to the next part. It is the body. Include a body paragraph with discussion points that elaborate on or list the main ideas associated with the memo's topic. To make your memo easier to read, write in short paragraphs and break the information into smaller, more manageable chunks Since the recipients will likely be scanning the memo, you should also use subheadings and bulleted lists when possible. So let's proceed now to the conclusion. Conclude your memo with any remaining information following the body paragraph. This is the summary of the memo and should clearly inform the reader of any actions required. Use the few example sentences to conclude your memo. Make sure you include a request for any action you need people to take after reading your memo. So the conclusion of a memorandum is the final section that summarizes the key points of the memo and provides a clear sense of closure. It's the last impression you leave on the reader, so it is important to make it impactful and informative. A well-written conclusion is important for a successful memorandum. It ensures that the reader understands the key takeaways, knows what action to take, and leaves a positive impression of the sender. By following the guidelines, you can craft a conclusion that effectively summarizes your message and achieves your desired outcome.
So good day everyone. So I'm Miss Rin Bilyaran po and I'm going to discuss the last part which is the closing. So this is the last part on how to write a memorandum. So this is the closing. So it says po that memos often end with a brief summary or a call to action but without a formal complimentary close or signature block. So you can end a memo with the phrases like please let me know if you have any questions or thank you for your time. So the closing po. So it was your memo providing a summary or call to action without using a formal salutation. So like sincerely or regard. So it is about being directly and practical. So how to close nga po ba memorandum? Also, you can use phrases po that encourage a further communication such as the like what the PPT says, please let me know or please let me know if you have any question rather, and thank you for your time. So these phrases po so help you to connect with your audience and inviting them to engage further if needed. So, next slide naman po is the example po. So, after you closing the statement, so it include the information like the thank you, your first name and last name, your email address, and your phone number. So, this information po makes it easier po for the recipients to reach out with question or feedback. Next naman po is the attachment. So, it ensure any necessary attachments are included if your intended recipients will need to refer to other information such as a graph, sidebar, image, or chart. So, below the end of your memo. So, dun po siya sa pinakababa ng memo. So, if applicable, you can list an attachment of a document, image, graph, or chart that you intended recipient might need. So, the attachment po are important if your memo po is or if your memo reference additional materials that supports its contents po. So, this include like what I said, the documents, graph, or charts that provide further context rather. So, how to include attachment. So, at the end of the memo nga po, below the closing section, so, clearly list and any attachment. So there are two slides, so there nandun po yung mga example. So uh, this help po recipient quickly identify additional resources they might need to understand the memo fully po. So nandiyan na po yun sa scroll down na lang po kayo, makikita nyo po yung mga example dyan nung attachment sa dulo po ng memo. For the last part naman po, so here are the tips for writing an effective memo. So, first one po is always consider your audience when writing a memo. So, be professional po. So, if you're writing a memo for the entire company, so use clear and concise language, accessible to everyone, and keep it professional using formal businesses language. So, when you crafting a memo, so it is essential po to remember who will read it po. So, tailor your language to ensure it is clear and accessible to everyone, especially if the memo is for the whole company, like what the PPT says. So, uh, maintain a formal tone and use business language to convey your message clearly and effective po. So, next naman po, next tips for writing an effective memo. So, proofread and review before sending. So, reading your memo aloud is a helpful way to check for typos, inconsistencies, and tone if you have time. So, share it with your trusted colleague who can offer a second pair of eyes. When sending a company-wide memo, you are speaking for the organization, so be sure that the style and message are appropriate and accurate. So, it is crucial po to read through your memo to catch any spelling or grammar mistakes, inconsistencies, or awkward phrasing. So, reading it out loud po, it can help identify issues in the flow of the tone. So, if possible nga po, as your colleague to review the memo, so they might catch errors you missed and ensure that the memo fits the organization voice and style, so especially for company-wide communications. For the last tip po, so write a subject that is straightforward and clear. So for example, if you need to send a memo announcing the observance of a holiday, include the name, date, and the day of the week of the observed holiday in your subject line. So send your memo at least a week before the event or due date, so people have to time to adjust their plans. So syempre mahalaga po na pag tayo po ay nagbababa ng memo or nga po, pag nagbababa ng memo, at least a week before ahead the event or due date. So, yung mga tao po is makakapag-adjust pa po ng mga plano nila. Or dapat sinesend natin yung memo natin ng mas maaga para makapagplano pa sila. So, yon. So, to sum up po, so by following this tip po, you not only improve the effectiveness of your memos, but also it enhance po the communication within your organization. So clear, for professional and thoughtful memos foster better understanding and engagement among readers po. So before I end po this video report, so I'm going to add some insight. So by understanding po these elements, you can write an effective memos po that can communicate your ideas clearly and encourage dialogue. So the goal po is to ensure that your message is understood and that readers knows how to engage with you if they have question or need further information. So creating po a good memo is not only helps to convey your message, but it also reflects your professionalism and attention to the details. And I hope you learn something on our video report, which is in which is writing a memorandum. And I hope you guys learn something. So bye.